everyone, welcome to Viveka Service Society's initiative NIRMAN, a capacity building institution. So the objective of starting this channel, the objective of us trying to speak before you in this YouTube channel is to make, this is especially for people who come from rural backgrounds who are struggling in their corporate scenarios and also in their college scenarios in order to communicate well with their peers or their colleagues. So what is it important when you speak about communication and language? What are the differences that are there between them? Today, let's speak as the first session. We'll understand what is language, why are people having issues with talking in English, why are they hesitant, what are the problems that they face in speaking in English. That is the first issue that we're going to address. From the next sessions, we're going to cover what is communication, what does communication skills imbibe of. When you speak about communication skills and soft skills, what all should you learn? What is that helps you excel in your career path that you have chosen? So in this scenario, this is the first session where we speak about language, and I'll explain you what is the difference between language and communication. Is language important to communicate? Do people who communicate without knowing English, are they communicating well or not? What does it mean for you to communicate in a different language? Why is it difficult for people who come from the rural backgrounds, especially in India? Why is it very difficult for them to cope up with the English as a language? So when you start about how you were taught the language, there is an organic method of teaching a language, there is an inorganic method of teaching a language. When we are speaking about organic method of teaching a language, if you learn your mother tongue, let's say, if suppose my mother tongue is Tamil or say Telugu, how was I taught Telugu or Tamil? I was taught a certain language by spoken. The first element of teaching a language comes through spoken language. When your mother talks to you, when your father talks to you, when your relatives talk to you, when people from the society who come to see you as when you are a child, when they are communicating with each other, that's how you learn a language. It's an organic method of language. But how was English taught to you? English was taught starting with ABCD in your LKG, in your kindergarten times. So when a language is taught to you in an inorganic way, what happens is that your learning gets dented in between. And when you come to the stage of you speaking a certain language, when you come to the spoken language stage, it makes differences in the language what you've learned organically and inorganically. Therefore, there is a difference in the communication skill also. So how do you first build your language? Then how do you build your communication skills? That's what we're going to address today. So when you're speaking about English, I also come from rural background. So there was a time when I was standing before a huge crowd of 100-200 people in my school, and when I was trying to speak in a certain language, I know that I was speaking out words. I was just blurbing out words in public speaking. But the point is, I did not know what I was talking. I did not know what I was communicating. I did not know if the minds I was talking to, the people who were listening to me, were they ready for what I was talking? Were they listening to me exactly? Was I able to communicate what I was trying to communicate? These weren't the skills which were taught to me when I was in the school. I'm sure it was the same scenario with a lot of people who are here in front of us listening to the same session. So when we speak about language, there are four major things that we encounter. What are those four things? If these are the things that all of us have at any point of our time have encountered. The first is, oh, words are not coming to my head. What should I do? The second is, oh, I make too many mistakes. And then the third is, this is what people at an intermediate level do go through. And then the third is, I know English, but I'm hesitant to talk in the language. Why are people not confident to talk in the language? Let's speak. I'm confident in talking in language, but how can I improve? So these are the four things that we encounter. So when someone is telling the words are not coming into my head, that just means that your vocabulary is not right. How do you build your vocabulary? It doesn't require. So when you were in school, probably you had teachers tell you that open up dictionary, read all the 17,000 words in the dictionary, or read a novel, The Hound of Baskervilles. That was one of the novels I had when I was in my schooling. So these were the things that were advices, or let's say suggestions given by our teachers. But are they right way to learn a language? I would say no, that's not how I have learned. So what happens is, you have to identify the words, the vocabulary that is very frequently used. Let's say charming or beautiful. So when you're using a word like beautiful, a chair is beautiful, a car is beautiful, the camera is beautiful, this woman is beautiful. Therefore, these are the words which you use for multi-purpose, not just one purpose. So you use words which are for multiple purposes. Therefore, you can improve your vocabulary this way, that you get used to words which are multiply used, which are used numerous times but not just once. If suppose you are going to learn a word like oregano, where are you going to use the word oregano? Or you're going to learn a word like gregarious, which means socializing. Where are you going to use words like this? So it is imperative for you to understand that there are certain words which are used in our daily life, which are used multiple times in multiple scenarios, in multiple contexts. These are available. If you Google out that what are the multiple used words on Google platform, you're going to get the words which are used multiple number of times. Therefore, this is the first step. So now you've learned the vocabulary, now you know what to speak. Now the second step is, I make too many mistakes. So when you're making too many mistakes, that means you're not good with your grammatical skills. How do you learn that? Pick up any basic book of English grammar. So once you do that, you understand what is the relation, what is the agreement between verb and subject and object. You understand what is a conjunction, what is a preposition, what are the words that connect two sentences, and that. So once you learn that these are the words, once you learn the grammatical skills of a certain language, then the third step comes in. The third step is, I know English, but I am not confident to talk in English. Let's say I am hesitant to talk in English. Why? Because you are still an intermediate learner. So when he is an intermediate learner, the person would tend to not to talk in language, but the person would be knowing the language. This is the skill, this is the stage where most of employees are in. This is also stage where most of students are in also. So when you are in the intermediate level, what happens is, now you know the vocabulary, you also know the grammar. So the third stage, an intermediate stage, which I call the confidence building stage. Now how do you build confidence? Speak in front of mirror. How do you build confidence? Talk to your peers. How do you build confidence? Talk to your colleagues. Do not talk in your mother tongue, but try to speak in a language, the language that you are learning. Try to use the word that you have learnt newly. So if you have learnt a word which is very new to you, try to use that word in the certain sentence and try to talk to people who are next to you. And therefore, you improve vocabulary, grammar and talking skills, and also build confidence at the same time. So this is the intermediate user. Now comes advanced user. So this is the place where you say, I'm not confident, but how do I improve further? So when you want to improve further, one is a practical that you've already done. Now what you have to do is try to watch movies, or try to speak with people who are native to English, or try to understand and see a scenario. What are the conversational scenarios that go on between these two people who are native to English speaking? Let's say Americans, let's say Australians, let's say British people whose mother tongue is English. So once you try talking to these people, you would understand that what are the conversational words that they use, what are the specific words that gets used, what is the specific grammar that is there, what is the specific vocabulary that is supposed to be used between two people when this certain conversation is going on. Now you become an advanced user. So this is about language, this is about how to build your language skills. So as we've spoken, these are the 4 things. You understand, you build your vocabulary first. The second is you learn the grammar. The third is you try speaking the practical. Here is where you become an intermediate user. And the fourth stage is completely confidence building stage, where you become an advanced user after this, and you'll be able to talk to the native English speakers. So if you have any doubts, you want to improve further, you want to talk to someone English, click on the link in the description, enroll yourself. We shall make sure that you get that guidance from us. Thank you.